So the Minecraft movie finally released. After nearly a decade of waiting, we have got the movie that we wanted a decade ago. I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that this movie was not made for us now. It was made for us when we were, well, I would have been 9 years old when it, started production. It was probably exactly the type of movie I would have wanted then. But that's not me now. I view movies very differently. I would have wanted something very different. And speaking of different, as you can probably see, I've kind of got a new set under construction. I've got a few shelves in there. I've got like a hammer and stuff, just some bottles, the whole thing. And I thought, hey, if we're doing a new set, why don't we do a new host? We've got...
I am Steve.
I got Minecraft Steve action figure here to host the show. Perfect.
Flint and Steel. This is Minecraft.
So I think that you should probably go and watch this movie if you haven't already. Everyone's seen it, I think. Most people have seen it. This video is going to be very different. I want to practice my improvisational skills so I can make videos a bit faster and do things more topically. I know this video is already like a few days late, but I'm just trying my hand at it. And I think you should go and see this movie. If you haven't already, I think everyone has, but you should go and see it for yourself. It's very special seeing a Minecraft movie, It's like the Five Nights at Freddy movie. No matter how bad it is, it's still special that something that I enjoyed as a kid got so big and got so influential that it has its own movie. The easiest things to compliment are definitely the special effects, especially when they get into the physical sets and physical props. They are absolutely immaculate. Some of the things look a little bit weird, but they look exactly how you expect them to. When Jack Black was wearing the
Diamond armor, full set.
And using the diamond sword, using his
Blades for days.
It is exactly how I pictured it as a kid. If you showed that to someone back in like 2011, they would have lost their mind that could be a real thing. The CGI was almost completely immaculate. At times it was obviously constrained by having such a oddly small green screen for a movie this big a budget. The characters were either completely alone or super right next to each other, and it just looked strange sometimes. But overall, like the fur, the grass, the texturing, the blocks had just the right amount of consistency and different features to make it look like Minecraft, but also look like a world that had grown into the shape that it is. It was very impressive. The creatures were a little bit uncanny, especially like the zombies. They've got the big blocky heads and blocky bodies and then like gross little human hands. But they're monsters. They're meant to be gross. They're meant to be weird. You're not meant to feel some kind of human sympathy when they get killed or burnt to death. Like they have musical numbers where they just kill zombies. And it's great. I love that. You don't want to feel bad for the monsters unless that's the point of the movie, but we won't get into Mobzilla.
Chicken jockey.
The story, the actual narrative was fine, I guess. I do enjoy how a lot of people mocked like the costume designs and that, but they look like how the different skins do in the game, like very colourful, very eye-catching caricatures of people. So I didn't mind that. The real humans getting sucked in as the story was probably what we all expected. It's fine, The characters get split up at one point, and I had higher hopes for that, because really what happens is the girls get split off into their own group, and then the boys go do the story, and then when the boys' story's over, the girls are just back there, like they just find them again. It's almost like nothing happened. That was a little disappointing, but other than that, yeah, it was fine, I guess. It really is just a vehicle for jokes, and the movie is funny. There are some times where it gets a little bit too desperate, a little bit too frantic for jokes, especially in the Jennifer Coolidge subplot, which, again, that was funny, but there are times where they interrupt jokes with other jokes, or are too busy doing a joke they forget to set up a bigger joke. There are times where it's like, oh, that's a funny payoff, and I kind of like, nose, breathe out, laugh about it, and then I remember, hang on, that's not a joke. What was it, when Jason Momoa says that he smells like cheese, and Jack Black gets super defensive about it, and says that he keeps cheese in his front pocket? That's funny. Like, Jack Black's reaction to it is funny. He's so defensive about his cheese pocket. I kind of wish that they stuck to that joke for a little bit longer, or didn't do a half-assed joke right after it, because I remember that being the scene where Jason Momoa is, like, pretty petty and rude to, like, the young boy, Henry or Hank or something. And it's just, you've cut off a joke that I was laughing at and was funny. You know, the cheese pocket thing, that's funny. Jason Momoa being, like, kind of rude and stuff, that's not funny. We've been seeing that for the whole movie. But we're kind of getting into the character stuff. The characters were what let this movie down. The way that they would just completely change their dynamics and goals and motivations between cuts, where nothing would happen. There are scenes where Jason Momoa is like, he's like a washed up nobody, he needs money to support his house, and he's doing that, he's, you know, risking the lives of everyone, he's risking the lives of the entire overworld, and then it cuts, and he's singing a friendship song, and then it cuts again, and he's literally committing suicide to save the day and help everyone. What? And every single character is like that. And there are scenes, like I said, about their dynamics. Like, after Jason Momoa supposedly dies, there's a scene where Jack Black and Danielle... Oh, what is her name? She was just nominated for an Oscar in The Color Purple, I think. Danielle something. Sorry, I can't remember. Sorry, Danielle. But Danielle and Jack are, like, joking around, like, oh, would have been great if he could have seen this, and they're very casual about it. And then it hard cuts to the two younger kids crying about it, and they're, like, in shadows, like it's the biggest death ever, as if they all knew him. And when he comes back, no one even cares. Everyone acts like he wasn't dead the whole time anyway. It's just bizarre that they do stuff like that. I was very excited for the first 20-30 minutes or so. I had very high hopes for the characters in this, because what I thought they were doing was that they were going for like a Cat in the Hat type of thing, right? Where the young boy, he's like creative to a fault. He does not care about the consequences. He doesn't think about anything more than what he's doing right now, living out his dreams. That's all he cares about. And the sister, she's too obsessed with not being creative. She's trying to blend in. She's trying to keep a low profile. She's working a job to support her sibling after her mum just died. That's horrible. That's horribly dark. And then you have Jack Black Steve, who abandoned his parents, like, opposite to what the kids are doing. He left his job, again, opposite to what the kids are doing, to do nothing but live out his dreams. And I thought that they would have had Jack Black go on a journey with these two kids and kind of establish a middle ground, that it's good to be creative and it's good to be serious, but doing just one is going to hurt the people around you or yourself. But that does not happen. Jack Black is not a mentor character to anyone here, which is so weird because he's Steve. He's Mr. Minecraft. He's the person that knows everything. He has the seniority over everyone. And it's just strange that he never teaches anyone something. I just realized that I forgot to talk about the villain, like, the whole time.
The Nether.
She's Morgana. Morgana is, like, the bad guy. She's funny. She doesn't really add much. I really enjoyed most of her delivery. She was really good. But I thought that she was gonna be, like, the bad ending to the older sister's character, where she's, like, too uncreative. She's too focused on getting money and protecting what she already has and, you know, digging up the gold and stuff. And then Jack Black is the bad ending for the younger boy character, where he's too focused on creativity. He can't even look at another human anymore. He's just totally in his own world. But yeah, Morgana was fine. I enjoyed the joke of her trying to stab Steve. That was enjoyable. But again, just more wasted potential from the character side of things. But from a plot side of things, she doesn't really add much. She's not really an obstacle. Like, obviously, yeah, more of her grunts are, her, like, piglins are, but they don't really stop anything. All that comes out of them is that, like, oh, you have to run away, but they always run in the correct direction anyway. You know, past the big mushrooms.
Big old red ones.
And then they 69, and that's it. Like, that's all that comes of them. And in the final battle, they make Iron Golems to do the fighting for them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. She should have not been in the film, and there would have been just as much danger and peril, because the piglins just really do not matter, which is a shame. You know, you've got Jason Momoa, who is supposedly being mentored by Steve, but Henry, or whatever the hell the little boy's name is also being mentored by Steve, but also by Garrett. What's that his name? Garrett? And these dynamics keep shifting and changing, and sometimes Garrett hates everyone, sometimes he desperately wants to be their friend, and it doesn't feel purposeful. Danielle doesn't really have a character, and that was upsetting. again, I had to repeat myself, but I had very high hopes for the characters. I thought that they were going to be just like their outfits and designs, caricatures of what you see in Minecraft. These very overdone, very bright, very eye-catching skins. We would have had very overt personalities, like Steve could be like the mine goblin, someone who just spends the whole game mining. And then you have Hank, who's like the redstone, he builds really overdone stuff when people would just way prefer a wooden door. I don't need a secret, hidden, moving mountain, I'd just like a door, please, Hank. And Garrett is like the murder hobo, he does nothing but fight and doesn't really help the group. Then you've got like the older sister, and she's like brews the potions and enchants the arm and gets everyone ready for the end game, and is focused on the end game rather than what they're doing right now. And then you have Danielle, she's, the animal person, she has heaps of wolves and stuff. And they get close to that, but they don't commit enough for it to be obvious. And they could have had these personalities, have some meta arguments and stuff. Have some arguments about which one's more useful and the kind of dialogue you'd hear in a Minecraft game. They don't do that either. They don't really commit to it being a Minecraft movie. It's more just a movie that just so happens to be in Minecraft. And I know that sounds like the stupidest, smallest distinction ever, but it's true. That's what it feels like. It's not a Minecraft movie. This is a movie kind of adjacent to Minecraft. I think the biggest... thematically and tonally, like, it's very obvious, like, being creative is good. But tonally, the first 10 minutes of the film are so dark. These kids have been forced to move to a town that they hate with people that they don't like, and... oh my god, the sister had been forced to work a job to support her older brother because her mum just died and her dad either left or is also dead. That's so dark, that's so horrible. And Steve is losing faith in living his life because he's in like this horrible desk job, and Garrett is so washed up, and Danielle's got a pretty cool life, but she has to hustle because she's poor and there's not enough real estate in the town, it's a dying town. It's so dark and horrible, and nothing in the movie is ever taken as seriously as that. It's so strange to have that and then have like lava. It's such a tonal mismatch. It was so bizarre to watch because I never knew how seriously I was meant to be taking things. Like, you have that teacher in school that's so obviously on the verge of suicide and is dealing with a messy divorce, and like hard cut to the big silly potato man falling over and the big jetpack and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how I was meant to be feeling for most of the film. The thematic conclusion to the movie is the last thing I'm going to talk about. It was so weird to me that it was the exact opposite of the game. So the game, when you beat the Ender Dragon, concludes with this big speech about how it doesn't matter who sees it, it doesn't matter where it takes place, creativity is creativity. If you're expressing yourself, then good. Keep doing it. Doesn't matter if it's in a game. It doesn't matter if it's on a little notebook that no one sees. You are you, and you deserve to let all of your emotions out onto something. But the movie kind of disagrees with that, and ends on a note that creativity is only worth something in the, huge quotes here, real world. Which, just for a multitude of reasons, is so bizarre, because that's not true. Creativity should be expressed at every chance you get. Your drawings, or your art, if you make video, if you make music, if you just like to doodle at work when you should be working out finances, is all equally valuable. You should keep doing that. You should be letting yourself out. Let yourself run wild for a moment. And the movie goes, no, you're wrong for doing that. If no one else is around to see what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. Which I so heartily disagree with. But also, the other thing that makes the movie odd is that the overworld is so real. It has people and animals, and it's growing and it's changing. I don't understand the distinction between the real world and the overworld here. It's also odd that they just let the Nether keep being enslaved, or like, what is it? Is it unpopulated now? Was that all the piglins that died at the end? It's peculiar that they draw these distinctions between the three worlds, even though they're basically all the exact same. It's just so strange. Like, the characters don't have any form of journey, and those journeys certainly do not tie into any form of theme. Tonally, it's a mess. Character-wise, it's non-existent. It feels like 30 different films that all got chopped up and thrown in together, with huge sweeping changes being made between cuts that happen in an instant. and narratively it's so plain and boring, it's on par with Troll in Central Park. But you know what? I couldn't stop smiling the whole time. I absolutely adored getting to see Technoblade and Dan TDM and the Iron Golem and all the trees. I laughed, I diddled, it was funny. If you're just looking for some very impressive visual effects and a few good jokes, man, that's the Minecraft movie. It's on par with, just background noise, like Despicable Me or something like that franchise, which usually would be used as an insult, but as a film that was in production hell for a decade and was started and stopped so many times, I don't even know how to start counting. I'm so impressed. It's like a 6 out of 10, but I'm so impressed by it. It's a fine movie. It's not awful. It's not fantastic. It's not as bad as the critics say. It's not as good as most of the fans say. It's just decent. It's just decent. I will probably watch it again, but I will know not to expect anything in terms of character writing, anything in terms of story or thematic, anything. Have your expectations set low. And do I want this movie to be better? Sure, absolutely. Would I want this movie to be written on par with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Generator X and Darksiders 2? Sure. I would have loved emotional journeys that had me in tears by the end. Absolutely. But it's a Minecraft movie, I was happy with my time. The actors were having so much fun, and I could feel that. I know I've tried to really draw out my thoughts on the film, but it's so hard to talk about, because I want to call this movie awful. If it was any other movie, I'd be like, this is garbage, this is such trash, but it makes me feel like a little kid again. 10 years ago, this is exactly what I would have wanted. It shouldn't have been called a Minecraft movie, this is the Minecraft movie. This is for us as kids. Was it a bit late? Yeah, it was late, but I can still appreciate it. I'm still happy we got it.
You ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken? I did, and you're about to find out. Uh-oh! You hear that? That's the sound of sizzling. Smell that smell. La 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 lava, chicken.